Haha, I believe I fixed it. How are we on sound now, Dustin? We should be good because it was muted. Okay, someone let me know that the sound is good in the chat box. Okay. Okay, let me turn the sound on. Okay, great. Thank you for that. That was very helpful. So I was talking about how I like to eat blueberries. So the way I like to eat them is cold with lightly salted cashews. So you're getting the sweet flavor and the salty flavor, and you're getting a good crunch, and it's delicious. Your cashews are giving you some fat and some fiber, and the blueberries are giving you all the fiber and the sweetness. So it's my little start tangent there. Thank you all for coming on this very hot Tuesday. My name is Kristen Elliott. I am one of the registered dietitians at the Atlanta Community Food Bank, and this is Quarantine Kitchen episode 5. I can't believe we're already on episode 5. That means we have been working on this project for 10 weeks because we go live every 2 weeks. It's pretty crazy. But I'm also very grateful for this outlet to be able to reach you all and to have some form of education coming out of the nutrition program at the food bank. So welcome everyone. Happy to have you here, and I'm excited to show you 3 cool ways to use blueberries. So the first thing I'm going to show you is a blueberry sauce. You can call it a blueberry compote. It's the same thing. And you can use fresh or frozen blueberries for this recipe. So when I initially developed it, I used frozen wild blueberries, the really tiny ones. And when I made this with fresh blueberries, the directions are exactly the same. It does not require extra cooking time or anything like that. The only thing that I did different was I added the lid to the pan as the blueberries were heating up, and that sort of helped the blueberries get cooked a little bit quicker. So I'm going to show you how to get that started. And then I have a finished product to share, and then we're going to use that blueberry sauce to make a salad dressing. And then from there, you can use your salad dressing on any green salad that you like. And you can also use it as a meat marinade, which is fantastic. I'm going to show you how to make some blueberry pancakes, which are going to have blueberries inside of the batter, and then we're going to put our blueberry sauce on top of it to make double blueberry pancakes. And that is literally my all-time favorite breakfast option ever. So last but not least, I'm going to show you this very interesting salad that is extremely colorful, and I'm going to show you that. I'm just going to let you see the colors and talk it through once I get there, because it's really interesting and very tasty. It does not include salad greens. That's your hint. Okay, let's get started. So over here, I've got my ingredients for my blueberry sauce. So the whole recipe is 4 cups of blueberries. You're going to use 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm using brown sugar because that's what I had available. I've got my beautiful blueberries here. And then the liquid portion is going to be 100% orange juice. Now you can use any juice that you have on hand. Orange and blueberry goes really well together in terms of flavor, so I like that. But if you've got apple juice, that will work. Any juice that is 100% juice. So we're only adding a small amount of sugar, and the other portion of sugar is going to come from the orange juice, and then the blueberries themselves are already sweet. So if you're looking for a way to reduce the sugar in this, you can use water in place of orange juice, or you can omit the added sugar because your blueberries are already sweet. Okay, so we're going to add our blueberries to our pan over here. And then we're going to add our brown sugar and our orange juice. Okay. So I'm going to show you. Here we go. Here's our combo here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start it out on the stove at around heat. And then once it starts to simmer, I'm going to reduce it down. There we go. It takes me a second to get this stove started every single time. So once it starts to get hot, I'm going to show you in just a minute because it's easier to show you. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my lid on here and let it cook for just a little bit. It only takes like 10 minutes max to make the sauce. So this is my completed blueberry sauce. So as you can see, it looks like it's pureed, but it's not. You do not have to have a blender to make this sauce. And my secret method for that is using the back of a measuring cup in the pan while it's cooking to mash all of the blueberries down. Blueberry sauce. This is delicious. So I love making a big batch of this and then just holding on to it throughout the week. Because like I said, you can make a salad dressing out of this. You can make a meat marinade. You can put it on top of toast like jam, French toast like jam, biscuits like jam. There are so many options to use this. It is especially delicious when you use it as a meat marinade because you're going to add an acid to the mixture. And the acid, like apple cider vinegar or lemon juice, is going to help tenderize your meat when you marinate your meat in the sauce. So always remember, if you want to use your marinade after you have marinated your meat, you want to make sure that you bring your marinade to a boil on the stove top to make sure you kill any raw meat bacteria. You can also just use extra from your batch to top off your meat instead of trying to reuse the marinade. So always keep that in mind. So this is my beautiful blueberry sauce. So in some instances, whenever you're cooking this sauce, it may not be as thick as you want it to be. So I'm always prepared with cornstarch. So when you use cornstarch to thicken a dish, you want to make sure that you add equal parts water to your cornstarch. So this is a tablespoon of cornstarch. You would add 1 tablespoon of water, and then you're going to mix it together, and that's called a slurry. The difference between using a cornstarch instead of flour to thicken your sauce is that cornstarch is going to make your sauce look clear, while if you use flour, it's going to make it look not clear, like opaque. So like a gravy. Gravy always turns out a thicker, opaque sort of color. So keep that in mind. I like to use cornstarch a lot, especially in stir fries and stuff like that, because it makes the sauce the color of the ingredients that you put into it instead of changing the color a little bit. But so whenever you use the slurry, you have to make sure you mix it in all the way very well with the water and then make sure there are no clumps. You will add that to your pan and then reduce the heat because if it heats up too quickly, it can form a clump in the middle of the pan. Mix it all in and it'll thicken up. You'll start to see it. So today I decided I didn't need the cornstarch because this turned it out really nice and thick. Okay. So one thing that you can do with your blueberry sauce is make a salad dressing. So I wanted to show that to you. So I've got my ingredients over here already measured out. So I've got half a cup of olive oil. And to my half a cup of olive oil, I'm going to use half a cup of my blueberry sauce. And then after that, you're going to add however much acid you would like to add to it for your taste. I personally like things that are really nice and sour and tart. Let's see. Okay, so let me just go ahead and add half a cup here. Our oil. So your ratio here is equal parts blueberry and olive oil. So it doesn't matter how much blueberry sauce you have left. Just make sure that you equal the amount of oil that you add to it. And then you add your vinegar to taste. So I'm using apple cider vinegar today. It's also very, very good with balsamic vinegar, and add some like fresh herbs or some dried herbs to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my vinegar. And then you can make this in a jar with a lid, and you can shake it up and then you can store it in that jar. That's my favorite way. But I wanted to show you this really cool tip that I like to do when I don't have a jar with the lid like immediately available. So I'll take my whisk and I will hold it between my two hands like this. And then I'm just going to roll it like this. It's kind of like an electric mixer, but it's a manual mixer. So, and then you can just go a little bit fast. My bowl is a little bit shallow, so I'm gonna do it really quick and short like this. And that is a great way to mix it. All right, so it's already turned this lighter purple color. It looks so delicious. You're gonna have some blueberry chunks in there, but they're really soft. So if you don't like that, you can mix it with an immersion blender if you have that, or a regular blender, or you don't have to blend it at all. All right, so there is my salad dressing. So store that in the fridge for up to 7 days since you've got some really fresh ingredients. Use it on your meats as a marinade, or you can use it as a salad dressing. Okay, so next, let's check on our blueberry sauce over here. All right, so my orange juice is bubbling. I'm gonna give a good mix. So whenever you're cooking your blueberry sauce here, your blueberries are gonna turn black. They are going to get really dark as they're heated up. That is exactly what you're looking for. So whenever you check it, make sure that they're easy to mash with your spatula. They're not ready just yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my lid back to it and check it in just a few minutes. All right. We're on a medium heat over here for our blueberry sauce. Move this guy out the way. So while we've got our blueberry sauce cooking, I'm going to go ahead and combine our mix for our blueberry pancakes. All right. So we're going to mix our wet ingredients and our dry ingredients separate, and then we're going to combine them together. So for our wet ingredients, we've got 2 eggs, got 1 cup of milk. I'm using 2%. And I've got 2 tablespoons of melted butter. It's gonna go in the mix. I've got some blueberries, which we're gonna add to the top of the pancakes while they're cooking in the pan. For our dry ingredients, I've got 1.5 cups of whole wheat flour. I've got 2 tablespoons of sugar, using brown because that's what I had on hand today. And then I've got a teaspoon of each baking soda and baking powder. Okay. Ooh, let me get my mixing bowl. All right, so for our dry ingredients, I've got my flour. See, we doing good in the camera? Yes. Got my flour and my sugar, and then my rising agents, my baking soda and my kitchen powder. I'm gonna give that a good whisk together. I can smell this blueberry sauce right from here. It's making the whole room smell like blueberries and orange juice. Dry ingredients are whisked together, so we shift this and get my wet ingredients. Got my 2 eggs. I've got 1 cup of milk. And then my melted butter. It's only 2 tablespoons, and that's going to spread out across all of the servings of pancakes. So it's really not that much we're adding to the mix. So does that look good? So I'm going to give that a good whisk. Oh, I got some bubbles up over here. Okay, so little pause here on the pancake mix. My sauce is nice and bubbly and really dark in color. It's probably fogging up the camera there. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take a 1-cup measuring cup and I'm gonna use that to mash the blueberries around. And what I do is I press it down and I give it a little circle and then go all the way around the pan. And that is how I get it all mixed together without using any extra electric appliances. All right. There we go. So I think I see a question in the comments. I'm going to answer those questions at the end. We're going to enjoy our moderator read them off to me because I can't see them very well from here.
I can read them off now if you want.
Sure. I see one question, but I don't know what it says.
Yeah, so Gil Barwick asked, is brown sugar better nutritionally than white sugar?
No, not necessarily. It's going to give you the same amount of carbs, the same amount of sugar per tablespoon or teaspoon or whatever you're looking at. So your body's going to digest it exactly the same way. So it's not necessarily any healthier.
And then Althea asks, if you can substitute a plant-based milk for regular cow milk.
Absolutely. You can use whatever your favorite version is of plant-based milk you can use. Sure. So if you're wanting to like pay attention to the sugar content, use something that's unsweetened, like unsweetened almond or coconut or cashew or whatever you prefer. But that's totally up to you. So yes, definitely. Same thing goes for the butter. You can even leave the butter out of the mix. It does make it really nice and moist. If you wanted to substitute it with just a little bit of the cooking oil that you're going to cook them in your pan with, you can do that. I bet a little bit of olive oil mixed in there would be tasty. Because there's like olive oil cake, which is like savory but sweet at the same time. I think that would be delicious with blueberries. Okay, so got really nice, beautiful mashed blueberries here. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah. So this is still really loose. So what I'm gonna do is leave the lid off of it and just let it simmer just for a few minutes to thicken it up. I don't think I'm going to need to add the cornstarch. I didn't need to the first time around, and I'm using the exact same method. So we'll see how it goes. Okay. So I've got my dry ingredients and my wet ingredients mixed on my pancakes. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my wet to my dry. Okay. And then I'm gonna give that a good whisk together. It looks like a nice thick pancake mix. So now you can use a pancake mix that you already have on hand. Something like a Bisquick will work just fine. But we like to teach to try to keep a staple pantry in your home. So that is when maybe you don't have Bisquick, but you know that you've got flour and you've got baking soda. So you can make pancakes from that. So keep that in mind whenever you are shopping at the store and you're like, I have $1 extra that I can spend on groceries. What is one thing that I can add to my staple pantry that will be there when you need it instead of just trying to shop for that week? I totally understand how hard that is, but just keep that in mind. Okay, there is my beautiful thick, that's perfect. Okay. So I'm gonna get my pan heated over here and then I'm going to drop a couple pancakes in the pan to start with. Okay. Let's see. All right. So I'm still getting the hang of this new cooktop that we have over here. And I think I chose the right buttons for the right burner. So we're doing pretty good today. Okay, I'm gonna move my pancake mix over here. I've got my syrup ready for whenever we are ready to serve up the pancakes. And then once we get our pancake mix into the pan, we're just gonna take a little handful of fresh blueberries and put them on top. Add as many or as little as you like. You could just leave them out and put them on top at the end as a serving. That's totally up to you. You have so many options with this. Let me give my sauce a good mix. That looks beautiful. Okay. It's still reducing, so there we go. So if you notice, I started cooking the thing that's going to take the most amount of time first. So if you're gonna make your pancakes, start your blueberry sauce and get it going, and then go ahead and make your mix together, and then get your pancakes cooking while the blueberry sauce is cooking. That way you're not finished with your pancakes and then you're like, oh shoot, I have to make the blueberry sauce, and that might take me another 10 or 15 minutes, and then your pancakes are cold. So think about it. Whatever takes the longest amount of time, start with that first. Cool. Okay. So I'm really excited to share this salad recipe with you. This is a food bank original, and it came from my dear friend Mallory and me brainstorming a couple years ago on how to use blueberries. So here we go. This is like a quintessential spring summer salad. Here we go. Okay. So I'm just gonna lay these out for a second. Look at those beautiful colors. All right. I don't want to break anything today. All right, that looks good. Okay, so this is we call this our berry beet salad because it has blueberries, it has cooked and cubed beets. We've got some corn. Today I used canned because I actually found that at the grocery store today. And it has edamame beans, which are just soybeans. You can find these in the freezer section at the grocery store, and you can use what you need and put the rest back in your freezer afterwards to save for later. Let's see. Okay, that's still heating up over there. You can also use any other kind of bean that you have available, like chickpeas would go really well in this dish because you eat it cold. We chose edamame because it is this beautiful bright green color, and it added to the mixture of the rest of the vegetables. I would like to share with you that your beets do not have to be fresh. You can use canned beets. I know Miss Gail Barwick that's watching here today loves her some canned beets. So you can mix this with some corn and some blueberries. You can even leave the edamame out and have yourself a really fresh salad for the summertime, and not just eat beets by themselves. I know you love it though. So this is the most simple salad. We are just going to combine everything in the bowl and mix it together. So things that you should keep in mind is that the longer this sits together, everything in the bowl is going to change colors because of the beets. Everything will turn this like pinky purple color. So keep that in mind. If you're serving this for people, mix it right before the meal starts, so that it still has a really good separation of color, if you will. But nothing changes about the flavor once the color changes because of the beets. It's all pink, and maybe a little girl or a little boy who likes pink would like to eat that more just because it's pink. So keep that in mind. So here's my beets. There we go. A spatula. All right, so corn, blueberries, and beets. It's just very pretty. So for the dressing, you have every option available to you. If you want to use a bottle of Italian dressing, you can add that. For me, I like to just add lime juice. Lime juice got the tart flavor that is missing in all of these ingredients, so it pulls together. So you have lots of options when it comes to your dressing. Something like ranch probably wouldn't be good. I think a balsamic vinaigrette would be delicious. Think about something that is going to be oil and vinegar based versus something that has a creamy component. I think that would taste better. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Starting to reduce really nicely. All right. I'm gonna increase the heat just a little bit on my pancake pan. Okay. And then this is starting to bubble. When you can hear it bubble, your blueberry sauce, that's when you know it's reducing. And you know, so how do you decide when it's thick enough? You can take your spatula with some blueberries on top of it, and you can tip it to the side. If it falls off the spatula immediately, it's not thick enough. But whenever it starts to slide very slowly, then you know that it has evaporated some of the water off of it and it's gotten thicker. And that is for any kind of sauce that you want to make. Okay. Okay. Before I add the pancake mix to the pan, I'm just going to share that oftentimes things stick in these pans. So I want you all to take a moment with me and hope their pancakes don't stick. Please don't stick. Okay. So I'm going to use a 1/4 cup measuring cup to measure out the pancake batter into the pan. Go. Go. I'm adding it. Okay. Hopefully we're good. I'm going to make one more. I've got my pancakes here. So I'm just gonna add a few little blueberries on top of each pancake. You could like throw them on there. You could make a little smiley face if you want to be cute to incentivize someone to eat some more fruit or vegetables. This is a fruit, but you know what I'm saying. You know that your pancakes are ready to flip whenever you start to see bubbles on the top of the pancake. That is telling you that the bottom is cooking very well and that it's ready to flip. So I'm going to give it a minute. You can also sometimes tell around the edges of the pancake, it starts to brown. The edges aren't always as obvious as the bubbles on the top. So the bubbles on the top are a really good way to check that. Okay, let's hop back over here to our salad. Add some lime juice. Some fresh herbs would be really delicious here on this salad. It just smells so good. So you have plenty of leeway with it. If you want to add some carrots for another color, that would be beautiful. Let's see. I really do think some carrots would be nice. You know, like some apples would be really good. That would give it another bite. And like a comparable texture to the beets. I like that. That just came out of nowhere. Add some apples to it. I think that would be really delicious. And then you're gonna have pink apples once it all sits together and starts to mix. Okay, this is looking really good. Pancakes are going. I think my pan is just not hot enough. It is a small pan, a small ring. So that might do it. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my blueberries and just move them out of the way. Oh, I smell them. I smell pancakes. Okay. So I have added some additional recipes for blueberries outside of what I've talked about today in our resource folder. I'm going to edit our caption to include that link again for you. So you can go in there and find the actual recipes that I'm following today for our demo. Some other ways that you can use blueberries, you can mix them into your favorite cereal treats. I have a recipe for like Rice Krispie treats, but without marshmallows. So I use honey and peanut butter instead of marshmallows. So you're getting a really good source of healthy fats from that, and it's just not straight sugar like marshmallows are. So you can mix in your blueberries at the end of the marshmallow treats. So I've got a recipe for that. They're called peanut butter bites. I've got a recipe for overnight refrigerator oats. So you can serve your blueberry sauce on top of your overnight refrigerator oats, and there's a recipe in there for that. I think I also included a recipe for French toast. And it's very simple, and it talks about using UHT milk, which is the shelf-stable boxed milk. So you can substitute regular fresh milk for that UHT milk. We distribute a lot of that shelf-stable milk here through the food bank, so I highlighted that in that French toast recipe. Okay, I hear bubbles. Pancakes look good. This is great. Okay, I hope you can see this. You see the bubbles on the top of the pancakes? That's perfection. And I can actually see on the side just a little bit that it's starting to brown. So let's flip this. All right, here's the moment of truth. Hopefully they don't stick. Oh my gosh, they are not sticking. They're stuck to each other. They're not sticking to the pan. Y'all, that's the prettiest pancake I've ever made. Look at that. I've never made a pancake that pretty before. Thanks, Fran. Okay. I'm a little too excited about that. So why should we eat blueberries? For one, when they're in season, they are the most sweet, and they have this really delicious pop texture that it's not comparable to anything, in my personal opinion, because I love blueberries. They are packed full of antioxidants and soluble fiber. So what are antioxidants? Antioxidants help keep our body neutral, if you will. We're not talking about pH. We're talking about anything that comes from the environment that our body absorbs. Antioxidants help neutralize those. So that's fantastic for our body. That helps reduce the opportunity for us to have disease and have inflammation within our body. So antioxidants are where it's at. We also have got the soluble fiber from the blueberries. I need to check these guys there. Oh my God. Okay. They're doing a little bit of popping because the blueberries are touching the oil now, and that's what we're hearing. Okay. So we're talking about antioxidants. You can get antioxidants from your food, and your body makes some of them. You can also get them from supplements. Whenever you get them from food, there are an antioxidant is a phytonutrient. So all of the plant components of the food work together to make the antioxidants work better within your body. So you can take a supplement, but it's not going to be the same because you're missing out on some of the plant compounds that come from actually eating the plants. So keep that in mind. Okay. I'm going to pull these guys up. I'm going to flip it over. Ooh, they got a little bit dark. That's fine. Okay. Pancakes, the one on the bottom is dark. That is fine. It will still get eaten. I'm going to pour some blueberry sauce over this. That's delicious. Okay, soluble fiber. So within your body, soluble fiber acts the way that oatmeal does when you add water to it and you cook it. So oatmeal absorbs all of the liquid, and it forms a solid mass. So just like oatmeal, if you cook it too hard, can literally just like slap out of the bowl and blah. So that's what soluble fiber does within your digestive system. What it also does is it helps absorb any free cholesterol that you have roaming around, and therefore helps you decrease your cholesterol levels. So it's really heart protective. You hear things like Cheerios are good for your heart. It's because they're made with oats, which are really high in soluble fiber. So blueberries have a really great amount of soluble fiber, which also helps to buffer how quickly your body absorbs the sugar. So it's going to help you not have sugar spikes because of the fiber that's present. That's my nutrition talk for the day. Okay, so we have some really great things to share. I hope you all got some really good ideas out for using blueberries besides just popping them because they're so delicious. Let's see. Joy, do we have any more questions?
Let's see. I have the last night checked.
Okay, cool. Cool. I think our camera situation looks really good today. I'm really happy with the way that's turned out. Also,
it says yumsky, yumsky.
I like that word. I don't know if we've had any lagging like we had last time. The camera would kind of freeze, but the audio was still going. I think it's been okay this time. I'm really happy about that. It hasn't stopped on my screen in front of me, so I'm excited about that. Cool. All right. Well, okay, so as soon as we finish up here, we are going to drop a survey in the comment box. Once we finish up the live, that'll be there. So if you will please take a minute and complete our survey. It helps us to serve you in the way that is helpful, and also lets us know if you learned something new or if you didn't. So please take a moment to do that in the comment box after the live is finished. And I appreciate you all for joining us today. We are going to be live again in 2 weeks on Tuesday. And that day, we are going to be doing a special summer surprise recipe. We're doing a little voting incentive with some of our partners of the food bank. And they are going to vote on what our next recipe will be. So it will be a surprise. So join us in 2 weeks on Tuesday, and try to stay cool out there, and thank you for joining. Okay, I need to stop. I have to stop it in Zoom. Okay, bye-bye.